which one's first.
Do you want to start over?
And here we are, working for tonight, coming to you from central Wisconsin, having everything so well planned out that it's just going to be an impeccable show. In fact, we're doing so well tonight that we're going to do something absolutely magnificent. We're going to use one screen.
Just one.
Just one screen. We're going to be a one camera shot, one screen.
I love you.
I love you
I
too.
want to be able to smack you and people know
And
it.
people see it.
Yes.
That's what you want.
I do it a
You
lot.
need a witness.
Can I get a witness?
And you're getting a witness.
Yes.
I'm Pastor Eric coming to you live from central Wisconsin. If you're listening live, if not, you're probably listening to this recorded because that's
you
the
listening to it dead.
opposite of being live. And coming to you from central Wisconsin, I am the pastor of the show, the minister, also the dad, the head, the big cheese, as they say in some places and in others. I also have sitting right beside me in the camera shot, the producer for tonight's show, which is Kay. Say hi, Kay.
Hey, y'all guys. That's Swiss cheese, the aged that's going on over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, all that is just gas, right? Just saying it like it is. And
Jokes just write themselves.
they do on that one. And tonight we don't have Chris because he is on vacation somewhere.
Well, I was going to say he's on vacation closer to us than as if he was out and then, recording.
Out on the left coast, which where it normally is, but he's not close enough to be on a microphone and on this show. I think they, as we have mentioned before, he came in for the wedding. And we got through the wedding, all the things that went along with that.
We did.
We don't have any pictures, right?
Not yet.
Show anybody?
Not yet.
And because what you want to see, it's not so much Chris as much as it is his son, the big ham that's in the wedding.
Oh, I heard. Me and my mom, the mother of the bride, planned it like 2 months ago, and it went well. We got an adorable little box that said ring security, and I love my family because when they do something, they just go all in.
Yeah.
And he even was able to borrow his mom's aviators, and we had another little one. He was so seriously walking down, and the box said ring security, and
Right.
he pulled it off.
And it was
great.
It was shall we say CIA style. That was the look that he had, and
It was good.
he rocked it.
It did.
Really?
He did. One of the first things he said to me is like, "Hey, Aunt Kay, I've been practicing my face." Your face for what?
To practice his face.
It's like my face for ring security, and I'm like, I love you so much right now. That's awesome.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And he's so much his father's son, so that's really good stuff.
Awesome.
But anyway, long story short, Chris is not with us tonight. He's doing the fam thing, and I think they went to the zoo today.
Yes, they went to the zoo today.
Yeah. And so had a good time down there, met some former military friends, I believe. And so the two families were kind of hanging out at the zoo.
Since they friends were former military, I mean, but okay.
Former military friends. I said that right, didn't I? I mean, that was self-explanatory, right?
Well, I'm just dumb, but to me it just sounds like, well, they're former military friends. They're not friends anymore.
No, but they're the friends. They were former military, not former friends. I mean, I put the words in the right order in order to be the antecedent that it was supposed to be.
I'm not just bringing them into my brain in the right order.
Wow.
That they're coming out of your mouth.
All right.
Let's put it that way.
So anyway, that's kind of what we got going on this evening. Tonight, the topics are going to be, I think, rather interesting. Without Chris here, our political topic isn't going to be former President Trump and Democratic presidential hopeful Kamala Harris.
It's not going to be as political heavy. Let's put it that way.
But it will have its moments in politics. but not so much politics as much. I always like coming at it from a cultural point of view because I don't necessarily understand the culture, the way that things are going. I'm a little too old fashioned for the current culture and with where things are standing. And quite frankly, I am trying to put a noose around its neck, hog tie it, and take it back to where we came
and throw it out back and let the pigs eat it.
I'll have to stab it a few times and get it to quit kicking. But yeah, where culture is right now, I'm just not. I'm not happy with it. I'm not satisfied with it. I can't believe we've gotten this far with our current culture. It's very damaging, and you can prove those things by talking about fentanyl deaths, by talking about broken homes and divorces, by talking about fatherless children, by talking about how much is going on with litigation and people suing people. Where is the kindness in the world, the hate, the murders, the jealousy, all this kind of stuff, to the point that where we have people that are running for our political offices, and it's not about doing what's best and running our country. It's about power.
Yeah.
And that kind of stuff, and political parties that want to stay in power, not to do what is best for our country, but they just want to stay in power, and the policies that they're wanting to perpetrate, because that's the way I feel, it's perpetrated on us, and where those things are taking, and it's the culture of it.
Yeah.
It's not that general attitude that's out there. It's just sad.
I don't understand taking on something that's supposed to be super like heavy, like not distracting, but okay, let me reframe my sentence. I am too good. I've been trained, I've been raised that if you take on a position of power or leadership, there's a lot of responsibilities that get put on you and you take it seriously. And it's not about the power, but the responsibility that you have with the power that you hold. And all these politicians I see now are coming in, and it's about the power, and they don't even care about the responsibilities that they're supposed to be shouldering anymore. And it just doesn't make sense to me how you can take on all of those responsibilities and then just chuck them by the wayside. Does that make sense?
Well, it does. The current president included. I don't know if any people are paying attention to what's going on in the Middle East, or the war in Ukraine, instead of being defensive. And I can't say I don't blame them for what they have done. A few years back, Russia tried to do the same thing that it's doing now. Russia took over 6 or 8 months to amass another army. We knew that it was coming, and we didn't do a thing to stop it before it came. They telegraphed. They said they were going to invade Ukraine, and they did. 8 months, amassed a massive army on its border, and then when they were ready to go, and so they did. And we saw it coming, and we didn't do anything about it. So here we are. Ukraine has been 2 years fighting this war, and
years already.
Yeah, it's 2 years, and they just have done something that they didn't do with the war when Russia invaded Crimea years ago. And this is the first. Do you know what they did?
What?
They, instead of protecting their border, they invaded Russia.
Oh yeah, I did hear about that. They are pushing back.
They did more than push back. They pushed into Russia. They didn't just defend their border and put somebody out.
In literal terms.
And so they pushed into another border. Some estimates are up to 40 kilometers. Trying to think,
But
what a kilometer.
Wow.
I can't convert it really well, but it's like 40 kilometers is like 60. 100 kilometers is like 60 miles. Or is it the other way around?
No.
60 kilometers is 100 miles.
I can never remember.
I think it's the other way. I think 100 kilometers is 60 miles.
Let me find out. Take it away.
All right. So anyway, that is something that they did, and while our producer is looking up and getting us, but I do know they went 40 kilometers over. So if you get a converter, find out how many miles that they pushed into the Russian
24.85 miles. So yeah, our miles are
almost 25 miles.
Yeah.
And that's what they've done. So that's, all back to saying this is where we are in our culture. And you're saying guys that don't have the power and that they're taking time off. We've got the war in Ukraine. We've got the war going on in the Middle East. We are sending an additional fleet over there to back up Israel and what's going on.
Yeah.
We've got Iran and its proxies that are launching or making threats that they're going to start a war.
Yeah.
You've got Turkey, who is saying somehow that they're going to even get involved, and their, I believe it's prime minister. I don't think he goes by term president. Erdogan is his name.
No, it's prime minister for Turkey.
Okay, and just you've got all these different things happening. You've got the thing down in Venezuela where they're not even on track and can't get their elections to grab hold of. You've got somebody a dictator that's trying to stay in power, and the people, it appears, that have voted him out by 75%. And
she still had voters.
Yeah, at that rate. And is the army going to turn against him? And then with the invasion of Ukraine into Russia, it seems that the people of Russia have said, we're fed up, Putin, with you. And so the people are starting to turn there. And our current, all that, and I guarantee you there's other things. I mean, China's doing,
we talked about it.
North Korea's, okay,
China,
all that, all the stuff in the Far East.
Right.
And the guy who is sitting in the White House has taken the last 5 days to go sit on a beach.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, Kamala is doing her running thing, and she's starting, even though she is not officially nominated, she is.
What is
next week?
It is okay.
DNC. I'm assuming you're talking about the DNC.
Yes, the DNC
next week, and so she is already assumed the titular head of the Democratic Party, even though it hasn't been nominated. So we've got those problems. Throw the
titular
TIT ULIAR titular.
Where's the coming from?
I have no idea.
All right, okay.
Anyway,
okay, and the finesse the executive,
and he's been sitting on a beach in Maryland for 5 days.
Of all the places to go sit on a beach, he chooses Maryland. They choose Maryland.
Well, that's his home state, where his home is, and stuff like that. And obviously, the Secret Service are able to cordon it off for his safety.
Yeah.
And that's where he's been for the past 5 days. So who's running America?
Protocol policies that have been put into place to,
and I think
run America.
I think that is pretty cool. Yeah. It's called CENTCOM, Central Command, has been running the show militarily over in the Middle East, but he is the guy. I mean, he's supposed to be the guy. So culturally, yeah, that's what you're talking about. We really don't have an effective president at the moment.
No.
And different problems that we have going on. With that being said, tonight we're going to talk a little bit about how the campaign is going, something that's going to happen. And again, I don't want to talk about it in terms of the actual candidates. I want to talk about it in terms of what's happening and how it's affecting our culture. And then we're going to take a little something out of the Bible that you're going to find in Matthew chapter 24. And I want to make an application with it tonight, and your thoughts. And then you got something that you saw this week?
Yeah, I've got some things that I've seen on the internet.
All right.
It's going to be fun.
So that's a little bit where we're coming from tonight. And so that will be coming to you. We're missing Chris, but we've got content. And when we come back, we're going to share that content with you. So We're going to take a commercial break. Stay with us, and we will be right back.
This is a public service announcement from the inconspicuous President of the Imaginable States. And now, from the rectangular office at the Gray House, the inconspicuous President. The President says it has come to my attention that there is an unfair law being perpetrated on the citizens of the great imaginable state of Delaware. The people of Delaware should have the freedom to sell an unlimited amount of cat and dog hair, increase their business profits, add volume to this great industry. Since Congress has failed to act, I, by executive order, will set the pet hair free. I can't say that. I won't say that. The President says I am calling it the Dander Emancipation Proclamation, and to the imaginable state of Delaware, I am looking out for you. You finished yet? Whatever. You won't remember anyway.
What?
All right. Breaking character, I see. So, wonderful PSA. We'll have to work that one up. That one would be really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to do a little bit more of that. Well, welcome back from our break and from that bit of bad news. Truly breaking news. As we were saying at the top of the show, we're working on culture tonight. And can you believe that we can have a campaign has made a statement about what they would like to propose and something that they would like to do. And then the other campaign actually go, we're going to make a proposal and this is what we're going to do. And it's exactly the same thing that the other campaign is proposing. They're literally and saying, that's our proposal. We're going to do it.
Yeah, isn't that called I can't think of the word.
I would say it's called stealing.
Fraud. Fraud.
I wouldn't call it fraud.
Copying.
Yeah, you want to.
Well, what's it called when you like copy paste from somebody else's word and you steal what they say?
You're talking about
Yeah. I think of it now.
In writing terms, it's called
It's that word.
Oh wow! Both of us are having massive brain cramps here.
You know what we're talking about, right?
Yes, and everybody
the works of somebody else's hard work, which isn't fraud, but it's that word. That's exactly what it feels like. It's just copying, pasting, and it's right on the tip of my tongue to think.
Well, it is also intellectual theft. And we talk about China.
Help she can get, okay?
We talk about China stealing our intellectual stuff. Well, that's literally
I didn't know
he's doing. Here in the United States, we do.
Oh.
And here's the subject matter. If you've got that, pull that up on screen.
Yes, I can.
Okay. Now, Trump, 3 months ago, happened to be in a cafe, and he was getting something to eat. And just asked the lady off the cuff that was waiting on him and said, if there's anything that you would like to propose, what would that be? What would that look like? And she said, in a heartbeat, you want to know the thing that is killing us is the taxes that we end up having to pay on the tips that we receive after people's meals. And he's like, okay, I get that. And so he started making that a proposal and he thought it through and he's like, yeah, we can do that. Plagiarism. There you go. That's the word that we were looking for.
They're plagiarizing Trump's campaign and work about cutting taxes of tips.
Right. And so he thought it through and he picked it up and started making it. This has been a couple of months ago now. He picked it up and started making it a part of his campaign that when it comes to the workers that work from tips, that we need to make those tax free. So people who are in those industries that work off of tips can keep the money and not have to pay it in on tax.
Isn't okay? I have something about this. You know why it works? Plagiarism, why they can do it and it works? Because the one side only watches Trump to a certain extent, but the other side only watches anything Democratic, anything Kamala Harris. They only listen to that kind of news, and those kinds of news sources don't report about what Trump's doing. It's only reporting about the great work that
Okay,
Democrats have.
don't get out ahead of me. Let me introduce that thought then, because
There's no communication or comparing the two sides.
hold that thought. I want you to bring that in.
Okay.
So, because here we go. This is what I have heard that Kamala is proposing, and we actually found a news article to it. Can our audience see that?
Yes.
Is that up where they can see it? Okay. So here it is. It's from the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget, and they are reporting on her proposal. And right there's the headline: Kamala Harris' plan to exempt tips from taxes. Now, I'm going to stop right there because Trump is not proposing to raise the minimum wage. But
you bring inflation down, you don't have to raise the minimum wage.
Yeah, right. So anyway, Kamala Harris's plan is to exempt the taxes from tips. And there you go. It's in that. Now, he proposed that. Now, let's go back to make your introduction. Why they're able to actually do this kind of plagiarism is because
nobody listens to what Trump says on the Democratic side, and to a large portion of the Republicans, they don't listen to what Kamala Harris says. Nobody cross-references.
That's not true.
More, it's a half and half. I somewhat listen to what Trump does, but I mostly don't listen to him at all, unless it wasn't for what you guys say.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't listen to anything that Kamala Harris or any of the Democrats say. So I am of one of those people that I don't listen to the other side if it wasn't for you cross-referencing it.
Okay.
So
well, there's
from experience there.
One of the things that Fox News, I think, is good at, in fact, there are times I think they do too much of it, and that is
what other
going over. Yes, going over to the other. I say to the other side because they have cookies. That's the dark side.
We are the dark side. We make great cookies.
We do. Going over to the other side and analyzing what the other side of the aisle is saying. And so therefore you get a little bit of it.
Yeah.
And you're hearing it.
I don't watch Fox though.
And you're catching those, and you catch the headlines from what the other side is saying. And that's the whole reason why we have this here. But you are right. There is a vast amount of people, and this is the current culture, that automatically say, I don't listen to what the two sides say and compare it. I automatically go, that's my side.
Yeah.
That's what I listen to. And that's all.
Yeah.
That's all that I listen to.
Yeah.
And so what would you think would be the next logical thing the other side will start saying, not knowing that Trump has already made that proposal?
Well, as soon as debates come up and Trump says, I was saying it before she was saying it, everyone will call him a liar because in their brains, well, no, that's what she said, and Trump is plagiarizing her, and in their brain, it's just degrading Trump even more.
Okay, that's one. All right.
It does.
That's one. What will be the next one then? Think of all the variations that are going to be said by the other side. So,
well, Trump,
who actually came up with it first?
Oh, well, Trump doesn't know what he's doing, so he's using off of how smart Kamala is. That's another way to do it.
That's another way to do it. Give me another way. Give me another way to do it.
I don't know.
Because every way that you will be ways that people will think, because it's the culture. This is my side. My side is better than your side. I don't care what you say. I didn't hear it. Go ahead. What do you got another?
Trump may want to cut taxes, or he says he wants to cut taxes, but he's not going to raise the minimum wage like she is. So she's already doing it better anyway.
There's another one.
And that's the last one I can think of.
What's another one? Trump stole it from her.
Yeah, well, I thought I said that with the second one.
No. Well,
that's what I meant.
Well, she was first.
Yeah.
Then Trump stole it from her. Then she's
doing it better because he's going to raise
any way that anybody can think of it and spin it, and yet it wouldn't matter if you. And I know you can, because he was speaking about it at one of his rallies where he started promoting it, and so the date would be at the bottom of the screen. all that other kind of stuff.
Witnesses.
And somebody will come up and say, no, that's AI. That's not real. He wasn't really there. He didn't say it like that. Because we saw that at his assassination attempt.
So
right?
Yeah, so many people showed the video and they're like,
That's
that's
fake.
cute, but that's not that's not real. That never actually. Well,
Trump set it up.
yeah, I heard that one a couple times. Oh yeah, but a person died. Oh, it doesn't matter. Trump staged that. He doesn't care if somebody died, and it's like
Right. And he'd be willing to actually kill somebody to make it look
to make himself, look good, like he's getting it. I cannot understand the degraded mindset of people. It's their way or the highway, and there's nothing that you can do to change their mind. They're so far gone. It's bizarre.
And that's the culture that I'm trying to actually get at.
Yeah.
It's there was a day, and back in the day when people would go, who's the better candidate? Is it the Republican candidate? Is it the Democratic candidate?
Who's fighting for what I want?
Who's the better candidate? And people I'm not stuck on being a Democrat.
Or
I'm not stuck on being a Republican.
Right.
Let me take a look at both of them. What do we got going here?
Yeah, they're fighting for these things, which I feel very strongly and very passionate about. And these are touching on other subjects that are important, but they're not the ones that I want you to fight for right now. Like abortion rights versus, fighting against inflation, fighting against, like equality of, women's rights and all of that versus I'm going to make more jobs. I'm going to make sure that, our borders are secure, and I'm going to make sure that our foreign policies and our relationships are good. Oh, well, I want the person on this side that's fighting for the things that I want right now, not, the person that's fighting for foreign aid, not foreign aid, but foreign policies and relationships and secure border and, for getting more jobs. No, I want to,
Well, let me formulate it like this, because this just makes me sick.
Yeah.
In our current culture. Okay.
Well, why are you voting for him? Because I like him.
Yeah. I was back when I was teaching school and then doing civics class. I actually had somebody say that
he's
to me.
Going against everything that you stand for. Oh, I know, but I still like him.
But I just like him. So we have a culture currently where we have a large amount of dudes that don't want to stick around and be dads.
Be responsible.
Okay, and be dads. Be fathers.
Stick it in, but they can't.
They don't want to stick it out.
Yeah, they don't want to stick it out.
Okay, and then we're in a culture where we have the mother instinct is just dying.
Gone.
Well,
yeah.
It's not gone, but it is dying. And because I cannot believe the amount of women that fight for the ability to choose to kill their children.
Yeah, that is sickening. And that is awful.
So start kill it.
You're disgusting. I don't want you to exist anymore.
Kill it.
And it hurts me.
I can't. I struggle with trying to fathom how a mother can kill it.
And don't get us wrong, that is different than the postpartum depression where they get so out of their mind that something does
you don't even have to. We don't need.
No, people. No, people do need a separation between willingly choosing to kill something and versus not being in your right mind and an accident happens.
I don't.
Different things.
It is. I don't think we need a disclaimer. I think everybody understands that we're talking about abortion as opposed to postpartum depression. Okay, be that as it is. Let me move on because because that sets the premise then, so that we get further into this culture of going. Do you know why I choose that guy over there? That guy, and these are issues that go across the board. That guy is creating an energy problem, which is causing inflation to go up. And when he does that, that's costing everybody paying higher prices for stuff. That is not a Republican Democratic thing. That's an American thing.
Yeah.
Okay. That guy over there, he's making policies that are causing
That's
my food to be more.
It's making
That is not Republican.
making everybody hurt.
That is not Republican or Democrat. That is an American thing.
Oh, that guy over there is literally sourcing out so many of our jobs to foreigners that we can't make money.
That is
Can't
not
get a
Republican or Democrat. That is an American thing.
Yeah.
That guy over there is all those people who can't speak English because they've just directly came into the country, and those guys and all of those people that did, and they're taking up
everybody killing.
Let's take what they're doing. They're taking up our resources in the medical field. They're taking up the menial jobs that people would get paid cash underneath the table. They're taking up all these other particular resources. They're starting to fill the schools because they go to these particular areas where there's already an education problem, and they go, we're going to put them first ahead of the rest of the actual Americans. And they're doing all these things. And then go ahead, talk about the other side that you were just talking about.
Oh, yeah. And then they go around and they're raping everybody, killing everybody.
Now, it's not every one of them, but by letting them in, we are getting the ones who will
do that. Because around here, there's not a lot of them around here. They've come in, and I'm pretty sure majority of them came in legally, actually, but they still, keep themselves. But because they're still Mexicans, they actually get put before us because of their skin color, because of their ethnicity. They get put before us. And thankfully, none of them are the bad ones in the area that we have right around us. But not too far away, there are the ones that are causing problems. They are the ones that are killing people. They're the ones creating gang activity. They're the ones bringing in drugs. They're the ones running all the way up.
And it's because it's what they do
down
in their home country.
They're just bringing it.
And they're just bringing it here.
They're expanding their business.
Their enterprise. Yeah. And so, and this is what I want to get at. Culturally, because of the breakdown in the other areas of the culture, this guy stands there, that one that's doing all the rest of this bad stuff, he's standing there and he's going, I'll let more people come across the border and give them amnesty. And because there's other people here that have the ability to vote and they don't mind the breakdown of the culture and everything that's going on, they'll go, I'll vote for him. Or you have other people that he goes, well, I'm doing all these other things and you may not like it. And it's totally taking your money out of your pocket. I'm going to raise tax. I'm going to do all that kind of stuff. But I'm also for abortion. And they'll go, well, then I want to vote for him over that one issue. Forget about all the rest of it. And it's because of the breakdown of the culture. And they want to continue with the breakdown of the culture because of, I'll just say this, it's sinfulness.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to keep doing my sin. Don't put your morality upon me. No,
I'm going to vote for you because you help me sin easier.
I got to watch how I say that. I don't like that, but I like that, if you know what I mean.
You make it easier to understand. How many times they've said you love this cancer and the sin, the corruption that comes in, the tiniest spot of it, it will grow. Like, all the mechanics out there, as soon as there's a tiny spot of rust, and you can cover it up, but it's still underneath the surface, and it'll eat everything around it, and it'll grow. And
if you don't clean it out.
If you don't clean it out properly, and that is exactly what sin is. And that is the root, the basis of it. You are a same mindset of sin, and you're just an awful person, a human being, and you'll let me sin easier because we're both being, controlled by the devil.
And so, since you've got that part of the culture that's breaking down, and yet all of us are suffering underneath this other thing, but you won't make the choice based on what is best for all of us. You go, you know what? I want that right to have that in my life. It's already sinful. Don't take it away from me. And I'm going to vote for that guy, even though by the time he's done, I'm past I'm past childbearing age. And I'm not going to have kids, so it doesn't affect me, anything like that. But you know what? I get the right to have an abortion, and for all those other women to have abortion, even though my gas prices are going higher, my fuel heating my house, air conditioning my house is going higher. I lose my job. I can't feed my kids. Right now, I'm going to the grocery store and putting it on a credit card because I'm not making enough money. But by golly, we got the right for an abortion.
By golly, we have the right to kill people.
We have the right to kill a child. Man, that's just sad. I need to.
Sad. We need to stop saying, yes, it no longer holds. And this is probably the saddest part about calling. You can't just say, oh, you're killing a child. That's what abortion is. You just say, you can't say you're taking a life. You're killing a person. They are still a person, and that's probably the only way to get it through to some people, because I don't know how on earth in their brain they can take, killing a child and totally pass it by, and it clears the filter and says, oh, that's okay. Oh, you're taking a life. That's fine. And I guess, I don't know, no matter how you say it or how severe you try to make it of what an abortion is, how gruesome and cruel it is, they're still okay with it.
Yeah. And you can take it into other things. There's other places of, we got our problems. We got to have our freedom of speech. So our freedom of speech. So we got our pornography. We want the ability to do the other thing. So we make sex workers a thing that's out there and turn a blind eye toward that. Then we start promoting all this other stuff that it goes on with trans people and all that other stuff, and try to make it normal into schools. I mean, what did we just see? We saw in the Olympics, they made basically spousal abuse. They're not spouses, but they basically made women beating a legal thing in the Olympics.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And not only that, one of the countries, one of the Middle Eastern countries just changed their they can get married, and it was at 15, which is already pretty young, as is. The legal age that they can get married now is down to, I think, was it 8 or 9? I think it was 8.
What are we doing to kids? My goodness.
Yeah.
So anyway, and you can end up doing that kind of thing. And we did this thing with the trans, and personally, you and I, we've just come through a situation where it's getting even a little closer to home. Somebody that we know has decided to want to do transitioning, and they are literally destroying their bodies over it.
They're putting themselves.
Careful with how much that you say, because it is private, and we want to keep their privacy, but at the same time, they're suffering underneath the hands. And one of the things that in discussion and sort of counseling with the parent of the situation is to say, but you got to ask and see, is the state where you live, do they protect, or will they go against the psychiatrist and actually make it illegal for a psychiatrist to inform them to stop the transition because it's hurting them? And yet it plainly is. And I mean, to the point of almost death, everybody.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's life-threatening what's going on.
They've lost the ability to work, to drive, and they keep putting themselves in the hospital because of the health complications that they are.
The complications are life-threatening.
Themselves through. I just saw another one that there's this girl transitioning. Someone said it might be satire, but I honestly don't know because of everything that you see out there. And she goes, so I went to a doctor and apparently I'm pregnant, but that's not right because I'm a guy. And so she's like, I'm going to another doctor. And they go, so you are pregnant? And she says, that's not right. I'm a guy. I can't get pregnant. And the doctor's like, right. Well, before the he you are now, the she you were then had the fun time and you're pregnant. And they're like, that's not, no, that can't happen. Do it, the test again. You're wrong. And the doctor broke down, and that's where the video cut off. The doctor broke down and started immediately saying, I don't know what state they were in. And it was a black female doctor who goes, you are a biological female, you can get pregnant. And that's really where the video cut off from what the person was filming and saying. And
Yeah, and so I go back into the culture, and this is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Those people have we've made jokes out of this in the past. It's not a joke.
No,
Those people can vote.
that's scary.
Those people can
You're
vote,
trying
and
to make it a
the
joke, but
decision
scary.
it's not a joke now. The decision making process based on the cultural effects that are going on, and learned cultural behavior. And the reason why they make the choices is based upon all the other bad choices,
Yeah.
all the other economic choices, all the other choices about our freedoms, about all that other kind of stuff. But because you've got one or two issues that deal with my
Personal beliefs.
personal beliefs, that you want to keep those things going, I'm going to select you, even though you're destroying me and everybody else in this country. By golly, I'll get my sex change.
I'll chop it off.
All over that. Or somebody that just agrees with it. Well, I'm not going to get a sex change, but I agree that those people ought to have that. So I'm going to choose that guy over that issue.
Yeah. I
Makes
because no, it doesn't make any sense.
That doesn't make any sense.
No.
It's like I'm starving. I can't heat my home. I can't run my car in order to get to work. I lost my job.
I don't have a.
But you know what? I can go to the government and get a sex change. By golly, we've got that right, and that guy is going to get. I'm sorry, everybody, and it's just that's incomprehensible to me.
By golly, I'm a hobo now, but that 2-year-old child can say that they're a girl and they can go get medicine for it to try and ruin themselves.
Yeah. How did we get here, folks? It wasn't that many years ago. It wasn't that many years ago that we did our decision making, and it was okay to look at Democrats because you were looking at who's the better candidate. Nobody was doing it. They were actually doing things. Their decision making was on behalf of everybody in the country, not looking at these individual things and going, I can divide the company. I can divide the country up into issues. And if I can win 6 out of the 10 issues, I can win the election.
How many people would be put in a mental institute nowadays if we were to go back and continue, taking people in for, their instability to try and help and fix them?
I have no idea what that number would be. I would have no grasp on how to even think of that.
Because for as mental health awareness as we are pushing nowadays, we're not properly doing anything for it. And as much as people want to say, be aware. Oh, yeah, we're darn well aware of all of these mental issues. We ain't doing a daggone thing about it, though. And I mean, not like a frontal lobotomy would help any of them anyway, but
actually, there are a few of those issues that's exactly what
it is not our point to put judgment or to execute the frontal lobotomy on the people. That would be God's job with a real-time smoting. Anyway.
All right. Well, we're going to need to take a break right there, and we're going to come.
I'm happy.
Well, we're going to do something a little spiritual after that, but we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to take a look at the issue of endurance. Ooh. And now, an announcement from one of our sponsors.
This portion of our show is brought to you by Strip Knot Auto Repair. Tell me, is your car horn broken? Are your brakes getting spongy? Does only half of the electrical devices on your car work and 2 of the check engine lights are always on? Well, come on down to Strip Knot Auto Repair. At Strip Knot Auto, we can't promise the best prices for repairing your vehicle, but we can guarantee a timely completion. Is your engine howling, snarling, or growling? Is your engine running the way it should? If not, bring it to Strip Knot Auto Repair for its yearly tune-up. and where we offer the finest shade tree service done by the finest machinists in all of mid-state Wisconsin. So if you don't like the sound of the horses under your hood, drive on down to Strip Knot Auto Repair today. Strip Knot Auto Repair, located on the corner of whatchamacallit on the other street in Mid-State. Yay!
Thank you, Strip Nut Auto, for being
My sponsor
of this show.
Yeah.
Excuse me, everybody, while I get me a little something.
Is you were wetting the whistle. I was told the other day that she's like, I like the way you said that. Walked over to my sister-in-law and I'm like, oh, look at the babe. Look at the babe. And I looked at her and I'm like, look at the baby mama. And she's like how you're saying that like an Italian. And I'm straight up Polish. I don't think that sounds Italian. But man, maybe that just really shows how Polish you are if you don't.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, that one's interesting. But it's really sad that the only time we get to see everybody together is for a wedding. But I'm still glad to see them.
Better than a funeral.
Yeah.
Better than a funeral.
Yeah.
Well, listen, one of the things that we wanted to get to is a concept that I just want to share with you today. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on it like we have other things, but this thing that I want to share with you comes out of the Bible. It's a concept that Jesus was teaching and talking about when things in the culture get bad, like things in the culture are getting. And it even says, Jesus even teaches in the book of Revelation, it says that it's going to get so bad that literally the devil, the enemy, Satan, is going to be able to make war on the saints, and he will overcome them. And so basically we will succumb to that kind of stuff. But in Matthew 24, he refers to it, and when he refers to how bad things are going to get into the future, because it's all hinged on this question, well, Lord, when Jesus, when's your return going to be? And 3 times, maybe even 4 times, a couple of them are inferences, but at least 2 of the times, he straight out says, look, don't be deceived during those times. A huge issue about being deceived when the culture starts turning, because Jesus said the culture is going to turn like it's turning right now, and that it's going to get worse, and mothers and parents and children are going to be at war with each other, and there's going to be wars and rumors of wars. I mean, we're right there. We're got the earth is going to be in a huge upheaval. Do you know right now that there were 3 earthquakes that have been recorded around the world within the past 4 days?
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything about that.
Yeah, and one of them was in California. One of them was in Japan. One was in California.
Not surprising.
The California one was 5. The Japanese one was 7.1. And there was another one this morning. It might have been back over in Japan, but somewhere over in that area.
Like that's
we've got
for those 2 places.
I think we've got a volcano just blew. So we've got an active volcano situation. And I'm just like, my goodness, the world's coming to an end, right? Actually, these are the kinds of things.
No, it's another check mark for apocalyptic bingo, but
Apocalyptic bingo. I don't want to play anymore.
I almost got bingo. I just
and you don't want to get bingo. You don't want to get bingo.
Ashes come.
Yeah.
Everyone tips over dead.
Or we're back to that. Yeah, that's what happens when you get a bingo, buddy.
Yeah, apocalyptic bingo. God smite.
I'm telling you, I don't want to play anymore. Anyway, so. But in all of that, when Jesus starts talking about how bad the culture is going to get, and especially when he talks about you believers, you're going to be hated just because of me.
Yeah.
That's what Jesus said. You're going to be hated because of me. So here we go. It's a description of the world that we're living in right now. And it's only going to get worse for those who are younger and keep being younger. But check this out. One little phrase. One little phrase. And do you have it over there where everybody can see it?
It's up. It's been up.
Okay, can you blow that up any? Can you do that? I didn't know if you could make it.
Here?
You make it larger. Make it larger of the screen.
Where's the option?
Yeah. Is it over there? There you go. Boom. One more time. There you go. There you go. Now let everybody see that. Okay. So this is Matthew 24. This is where I'm taking it from. And Jesus is telling everybody that the culture is just going to be that bad.
Yeah.
But then in verse 13, he gives this little statement. He says, "But the one who endures to the end will be saved, will be rescued, will be you will be the one that I'm going to pull you out of it." Okay. Now I bring that to you because in the midst of all of the stuff that's going on, in the midst of we are in the middle of people who are going along just to get along.
Yeah.
Okay. They don't want to stand up. And when Jesus says endure, you're supposed to stand for righteousness.
Stand
all the way through. Well, I was thinking more stand up.
Oh, but that one too. Both of them as well. It had
stand up.
This was part of your sermon on Sunday, and Carson didn't quite understand when you were referring to.
Who's Carson? Tell everybody who's Carson. There you go, nephew.
Okay,
keep going.
The CFC's oldest. Anyway, he's like, oh yeah, because you said, and he will wage war against the saints, and he will win. He didn't understand that you were talking about the devil, and so I told him, nobody is the devil, and he will win over us. And he just goes, oh, and I go, but
it's heavy. But that's a heavy concept.
In the end, even if you die for the cause, you still win.
You win because there's a great hope. What's the hope?
The hope is heaven. The hope is to finally be fulfilled and to live in perfect harmony with your Creator, the one who intended for it to be that way. The perfect ending to anything. And everyone's like, no, death. The ending of it all is just the beginning of the perfect world as it was supposed to be. That is the hope that we live for, to stand up, because even, to live is Christ, but to die is gain. And it is an absolute what you think. You live to stand up for Christ as he asked us to, because we love him. That is the relationship we have with him because of what he has done for us. And because of that, the great reward that he gives us, because he knows it's hard. He knows it's going to be awful. And that's why he proved that it could be done, because he came down and did it and goes, I do understand. It's okay. Here's what you're looking forward to. It'll be all right. It hurts. Okay. It'll hurt now, but that is nothing compared to the fulfillment, to the absolute wonder, to the absolute amazement, and just...
You come up here and be with me forever.
Yeah.
How's that sound?
Ever in perfect peace, in perfect harmony. Nothing will go wrong. You will never be sad again. You will always be content. You will always be happy, and you will always be fulfilled. People are always searching and looking for to fill the emptiness, the void that they don't understand. And it is a beautiful story. There's a girl, her name was Nala. She grew up in a Christian household, but her parents, separated, but then got back together, and they themselves found God. But because of the stress and the emotional damage that she saw because of that, she ended up running so far away that she tried to fill it with anything and everything. And it led to her being very popular on OnlyFans and always wanting to go out and trying to cheat on everybody and to try and fulfill it in a very sexual and very flesh type of way. But she had a Bible, and it just so happened she didn't touch it. A person that came into her apartment was like, oh, can I do it? And she's like, yeah, I don't care. Do whatever you want. They ended up grabbing the Bible and putting it down on the table. And a day or so later, she just hit a wall. And she looked down, and she had a heart-to-heart with God. And she said, that void that I've been trying to fill with all of my cheating and all of the running around, he's the one that can make me fulfilled. He's the one that can fill the void and make me happy in a wonderful, wholesome, and just incredible way that
Righteous. The word is righteous.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah.
That's the word I'm looking for. In a righteous way that nothing in this world can. And I have been numb to so many emotions. I finally have felt whole again. And I have found God. And it wasn't in a church, but it was through his holy word, through he himself showing up to her. And she has, been slowly changing her life around and has been, fighting to, clean up her image, to clean up everything that she's done. And it's been beautiful to see. And it's incredible. And it got a little bit of playtime on TikTok and stuff. But other than that, everyone's like, she's not popular anymore because she's no longer, degrading herself and her body and her soul by selling it online. But it is such a beautiful and incredible thing.
And we call that transformational ministry. And it's something that only God can do because of being the creator of us.
Yeah.
He can transform us. And
it was of her will and her choice to come back to God.
She had to choose.
She chose.
That's the only thing that she can do. God had to do the rest, but you have to choose.
Yeah.
And so Jesus puts in this particular scripture, and he says that he who endures to the end. That means that once you start this path of righteousness, that is what you have to walk, and you have to maintain it. You can't give up on God's way to go along, to get along.
You can't jump in and out.
It's going to be the person who endures, who does it, who is day in, day out,
striving,
faithfully seeking, doing God's righteousness in their life. And here's the thing, God isn't going to, when that time comes, God is not going to rescue you. In fact, it's going to be the door of death that you end up passing through to get into safety. And so Jesus says you got to endure it all the way through. Which means you got to be faithful.
Yeah.
You got to be faithful in your walk. I believe that during those times, things are going to be incredibly difficult. And I think that as maybe having God's help to do that, it may just may not be there. And you're going to have to do it on your own, maybe without the help of God, the Holy Spirit, to do it. I don't know. It's going to be unique when it comes there, but I do know this, that we have to endure. The one who endures will be rescued. Yeah. So that's what I just want for you tonight. Things in this culture are going to be really difficult. The tide may turn against you. You may feel like you have, maybe even your whole family might be against you, but you are to stand for righteousness. You are to be faithful about being righteous, walking your walk with Jesus Christ. And you've got to hold that. You can't go, well, maybe I'll just hide it for a little bit, or maybe I'll pretend not to be, just so that I don't get shot or I don't get beheaded, because that's what happens over in the Middle East. They'll catch those guys and they'll say, renounce Jesus, and they won't. And they have
eternal life.
They have put those videos out there for everybody to see,
to scare you,
to go, am I going to be able to stand for Jesus? And let me tell you, as a minister of the gospel of Christ, that thought has crossed my mind.
Yeah.
Do I have what it takes that if somebody puts the gun on me to say that? Let me tell you what really scares me, to know if I've got the guts. They don't put it on me.
Put it on someone else.
But put it on you and say,
don't do it, Dad. Don't do it, Dad. I'll see you on the other side.
Folks, but we have to endure to the end. That's what Jesus said.
Yeah.
And we got to be faithful with our walk. We're faithful in righteousness. Don't back away from it. Don't go, well, they're going to kill some. No. You have to endure.
There's a point.
To the end. And of course,
there's a reason.
I did one whole sermon on what did the word end there mean. What does that mean? Endure to the end. I mean, can Can it almost be the end? Does it look like the end? Or what does end mean?
It's the total redundancy. It's the end. It's the beginning of the end. It's the end of the beginning.
It's you got to see it all the way
through.
Yeah.
We have a reason and a purpose in this life, and God shows us through His Word in the Bible. And in through the endurance, He gives us a just reward, more than a just reward. He gives us more than we have ever needed or ever will be to deserve for all the crap that we've done, just through sin itself. But it's worth it. It is so worth it, and it's about a true relationship.
So let me wrap this up. What this really gets to is for those of us that proclaim Jesus Christ, and I challenge you to bring Christ into your life and His righteousness. It is the only way to really live. But with all the other weak-kneed things that we got going on out there in this current culture that runs away from God, all the other weakness of guys who won't stand up and be dads, people who go along to get along, people who won't take a stand for what is right, people who don't want to be, well, I don't want to catch everybody else's, so I'll just be quiet and I'll turn. No. And then there comes a point in time where you got to make a stand. Make a stand. So and then once, if you're going to do it, you got to make a stand for Christ. You got to make that stand in your life. And so the call is going out right now from CFC, Common Freaking Sense. Don't it make sense to you that the people that are going to be in God's holy heaven are going to be the people who were faithful to the end?
Yeah.
Not the ones who, well, surely God will understand.
The ones that chose.
Yeah.
The ones that made the choice.
So you ready to buy a shirt with a backbone and put it on? Because if you ain't got one,
it's been blessed by the Lord.
Because if you ain't got one, get one.
Because even if you stand alone without another human there, you don't need a human. You stand with Christ. You never stand alone.
And death,
not if you choose Him.
And death is just a door to get where He is. And that's how we have to see it. All right, let's lighten this up just a little bit.
Maybe I can make you laugh.
Please make us laugh. But we need people with guts. We need people with a backbone.
We need people with titanium steel bones. I don't know.
All right, Wolverine. So make me laugh, Kay. Things, what did you see on the internet this week?
We're bringing a bit of Skeletor back.
Oh, I thought you was getting ready to say skillet.
No, Skeletor.
All right.
Quitting drugs is viewed more positively than never taking them. Until we meet again!
That is so sad, but true. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, that's maybe... yeah. Yeah, can you hear them? They're a little quiet. You might want to...
Who's a little quiet?
They are.
Oh, what do you need me to do?
Maybe nothing, as long as you can hear them.
I can hear them just fine.
100% of the people who don't understand the difference between causation and correlation will die. Until we meet again.
I thought you'd like that one.
I'm not going to explain it. We'll see what happens to people this week.
You'll just have to get it.
Remember, good criticism is just explaining your flaws with a nicer tone. Until we meet again.
Wow.
Weren't you telling me to
Wow. Okay, that was a really good. That was a
face out of the.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was a really good one.
Well, we were at the wedding and you're like, "Don't be so demanding." And John's like, "No, you can be demanding. You just have to say it in a nicer tone." I'm like, "Please get downstairs now."
Absolutely. It's amazing how there's a saying that your mom has, and it's so true, and that is you catch more flies with honey
than
vinegar. So
there you go.
Anyway, but that's true. Yeah. So honey will get you way more places.
Which is crazy. You shouldn't say you'd catch more flies, but I mean,
it's true though.
Yeah,
it draws flies.
Remember, hitting 99 on a microwave makes it cook for longer than if you hit 100. Until we meet again.
You don't get it?
I don't get that one.
Okay, so if you
Oh, yeah, it does. Yeah, it does.
1 minute, 60 seconds versus 99
9 seconds, which ends up having to be a minute and 39 seconds.
Yeah. Which I don't know how many people do get that. Don't hide your beautiful face. We don't want to see the microphone. We want to see you.
Remember,
All right now.
Freddie Mercury was viral in more ways than one. Until we meet again. Remember, a circle is a shape, letter, and a number. Until we meet again.
It's true though. We use it so many different times, and it can be a degree symbol, depending. It's a tiny.
Well,
symbol,
a
though.
degree. It could be a degree.
Yeah.
You know.
What kind of degrees? So there's 2 different types of degrees.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Same. Same at the 180 degrees, versus 80 degrees.
You still
Same setup.
Still use the degree symbol.
Yeah.
Remember, cranberry juice tastes like it doesn't want to be wet. Until we meet again.
Is it accurate or what?
Well, yeah, true cranberry juice because it sucks all the moisture out of your tongue.
It's so dry. It's what like a dry wine tastes like, where it's like
That's the
concept.
That's the concept. That's
Okay.
the concept of being dry.
Just sounds. I love cranberry juice, but it just sounds awful. Just
Remember, it's impossible to accuse someone of being judgmental without being judgmental. Until we meet again.
Totally disagree with that one.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's like
A fact is a fact, dude. You're being judgmental. I'm not. That's not being judgmental. I'm just making. It's an obvious appearance. Just stating a fact.
it's just a fact.
It's just, that's not being judgmental.
You're doing so many people. Just you're just adding napalm to the fire.
It's true.
There's a stranger out there somewhere who remembers you because you made it weird.
Hmm.
Until we meet
So
again.
what are you doing tonight?
Stop it. Just stop it.
Okay.
I'm not even going to retell that story so everybody knows what in the world you're talking about.
I think we've told it once before anyway.
Doesn't matter. We're not repeating it.
All right.
Remember, the Grinch never really hated Christmas. He hated people, which is fair. Until we meet again.
It's fair. Wouldn't it be better if he just hated Christmas so he didn't hate people?
No, they're so closely tied together.
The reason I don't like to go outside.
Uh-oh.
What?
People.
Oh no, people.
True.
That kid is hilarious.
True.
So,
That is so true. That is accurate.
so what? People.
That is accurate. That's accurate. That is a great reason not to go outside. There's people out there.
What?
Absolutely.
So there we go. That's what I had for us today. And it's not too bad.
That is what Kay saw today.
Well, I mean, I did see it today because I did choose it, but I have a crap ton of stuff I gotta just slowly get through
Yeah.
as fast as possible, not adding
You
more
know
stuff.
what I got to get back to, and maybe some of our audience can help me with this. I mean, I don't know how, but
Jingle, jingle.
I got to get back. I got to get back to my book.
Oh, you're
Yeah, I got to get back to my book. That's something I haven't talked.
back to your book.
That's something I haven't talked a whole lot about. My book.
The book started as a running gag, but as originally a screenplay, as a stage play.
Stage play.
And he adapted it into a book, and it's coming along great until he stopped writing it.
Yeah, I changed jobs,
A lot happened.
and in the process of changing jobs and having to learn new stuff and all this other things, I just didn't. The book had to go by the wayside. Making money was a little bit more important at the moment. So here we are. I'm a little over a year later since I stopped, and so I
evening out.
got to get back to it. So tell everybody the synopsis. I think I was somewhere around chapter 14, 16, I think. I thought
It's,
something like that.
do you remember the place that you were posting it?
See,
he was putting it on Booksy. It was also, I believe, we posted a little bit on Archive of Our Own, and it is called Abra Cadaver, and it is a dark comedy about a school of mortuary science.
Yes.
The dean.
Yes.
It is a.
Do you remember his name? All of a sudden, I can't even remember his name.
It's Dotterfield III.
Yeah, Dotterfield.
Something Dotterfield III. And he's a drunk. He's a higher functioning drunk, but he's a drunk. And there's a narcoleptic janitor and a cadaver that's supposed to have how many thousands in diamonds?
I think it's a couple of $100,000 worth of diamonds.
50, I think, at least. 2 Tyrones, and just, it's hilarious.
And two
Tyrells.
2 Tyrells and 2 families that are at war with each other, and we do mean mafioso families. Well, one's mafioso, the other one is a cartel, the beginning of a cartel, and the cartel is much smaller than the mafioso family, and so he's trying to muscle in and be like the mafioso family.
So
yeah,
he made it way more about the families and the drama going on. And the original screenplay that we did with it was all about this tiny little school and trying to go through the final term of college with these students. One of them is the son to the narcoleptic janitor, and they're trying to perform their last autopsy on a cadaver, and the cadaver keeps getting switched around because of the mafia and the supposed, money in on it. And then the narcoleptic janitor keeps getting confused for the cadaver, and then of course the dean the entire.
That's because he's sleeping on the
gurneys.
On the gurneys and stuff, yeah.
Dean is of course drunk, and he's, constantly fighting, trying not to have the school closed down.
And let's not talk about Tyrell's wife.
Well, that you brought in Tyrell's wife,
yeah,
which is the way he went with it is really funny and hilarious, totally something different, which is why it's such a great surprise, because the Abra Cadaver, it's great.
I cracked myself up.
Poor Uncle Guido.
Poor Uncle Guido.
Well,
yeah, absolutely. So, hey, if you get a chance, look for Abra Cadaver over on Booksy. If you get over there, Booksy.com. BOOKSIE. Go to Booksy.com, Abra Cadaver, and check out what I've got left over there, and let me know what you think. That would be awesome. Also, Kay, take us through how can people stay in touch with us?
Oh my word! You can see us on Spotify, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. You can see us on, I think, Apple Podcast as well. And hit the subscribe bell wherever you watch us. You can also find us on Twitter as well. And please like whatever we post out there. Not just for me, not for me at all, but please do it for, Mr. CFC, if you want to say it like that, for
absolutely
Chris there. Give him a nice like. And of course, there's the I Came With Fire podcast that they're doing. Of course, that's coming up here on Friday as well.
Live on Rumble.
Yep. And that they've got that going on the works. And he's supposed to be on it this Friday as well, right?
Yep.
So that's going to be
back in rotation.
That's going to be nice and interesting. And so like, subscribe, and follow. And leave a comment down there. And you know what? Here's your random thing to say. If you ever have absolute strange Karen story to tell us about a liberal person or just something, tell us your experience with it, or tell us an experience that you were able to help show someone the truth. That would be even better. And that you could help, guide people. But hey,
you know what? If you got a Karen story, that would be interesting. Share your Karen story.
Share your Karen story. And please do all that, and we'll hope to see you next episode as well.
And we'll see you in the next episode. Take care, everybody, and use some common freaking sense. Take care.